Hello, LEGO fans, and welcome into a brand new episode of the Brick Hour podcast. I am JJ, otherwise known as Lancashire Builds.
I am Cameron, otherwise known as Cameron Studios.
I am Gina, or My Bricks and Me.
And joining us today is a very good friend of ours. He's been on multiple times. He is a LEGO connoisseur, and he also runs a Bricklink store. Please welcome in our good friend, DOTU Bricks.
Hello, I'm Doug.
Doug, you've been on a few times. We always love having you. For those who may not be aware of who you are, could you give a quick introduction for yourself?
Doug, I've been running a Bricklink store for, I think, 4 years now or something like that. I'd have to double check. As you can see, I've got drawers of stuff behind me. That particular row is probably closer than the last ones you saw because I had a new row put in a few months ago. But yeah, that's pretty much my days and nights.
You also have a YouTube channel too, which you do a lot of fun stuff on with that as well. So, before we get into everything today, obviously there was some fun happenings that happened this past Sunday. For those who may not be aware, our incredible United States men's hockey team took down the Canadians in the Olympic gold medal game to win our first Olympic gold medal in men's hockey since 1980. And the only thing I have to say to all the Canadian fans out there is
easy.
Who's your daddy?
I wish you gave me a heads up. I have my USA jerseys that I've worn on the podcast, and the one day I'm not wearing it, you're going all fleshed out.
Sucks to suck, Canada. We beat you in both the men's bracket and the women's bracket. So your sport is now our sport. That's the end of that.
Gina, this is sports talk for you.
I know.
You're not aware.
Yay, sports.
I
know what hockey is. I don't know nothing
I'm just
about
making
it,
sure.
And Nike, if you don't make more men's hockey jerseys from the Olympics, I will find you. I'm just going to say
they're not going to.
I want to buy one.
What's amusing with that too is I actually remember the last time they won.
I mean, it's been.
I've seen the movie Miracle. I don't know if that counts.
By proxy, I guess it counts. But yeah. So Cam, what are we building this week?
What are we building? I don't have much to show for because I've been busy. Well, we had the store tour this past weekend, and I put in a few orders this weekend to get pieces to actually build all of the mocks I've been showing out the past few weeks. So I'm making 4 brickheads, and Doug probably has 75% of the pieces that I ordered. So thank you. Sorry about that, Doug. I'm sure that was a really big order.
Yeah, it's larger, and with a lower piece count, it takes a longer time, but it's all right.
My bad.
I have to drive around a lot. I can just come get them if you want.
I'll get them at the meeting next week, but I was able to get started on making a Robin Hood. Not much to show for because I'm using random pieces because I don't have a lot of colors. I have to figure out what I'm doing for the tail. And then I think I'm going to use Wile E. Coyote as like a reference to try and get the Robin Hood face. And the hat, I'll probably use like my Peter Pan brickhead that I made last year to try and figure out a hat there. But I haven't built much, but hopefully in the next couple episodes, as all the pieces come in, you'll be seeing 4 new brickheads in their full glory, not in their prototype phase stage. So that's all I've been building. Gina, what have you been building?
Not much. I finished the modular, found a home for it, and I have a base plate's worth of space in between that and Arkham. So now I have to try and blend them together. So I'm kind of thinking maybe a 3/4 creepy alleyway with like a regular alley for the shopping street, or maybe it'll pour over. But yeah, so that's I'll probably be doing that for like 6 months because I'm awesome.
Maybe a parking garage for all the cars in your streets.
I have so many cars.
You could do a cemetery next to Arkham too.
I could.
That'd be pretty cool. I don't see many cemeteries in Lego City, so I feel like that'd be something different for you to do.
Yeah. So I'm trying to blend them together with one base plate. So, but that's about all I've been building.
Now, Doug, I'm not sure if you build much. I know you have your Bricklink store, but have you had a chance to build anything lately?
Well, actually, if you look right up here, that is the Burn E set that they did at Bricks Rock, which is the little robot that was in the Wall-E movie that had the problem with the light got broken. And then a little bit further over here is the new Speed Champions DeLorean, and I did that one as well. And I've also got the Game Boy is up there as well.
Wow,
Oh,
you've
that's
been busy.
Oh, I can see it.
Nice,
now.
nice.
The DeLorean's nice.
It is.
I need to get a couple more.
I
of those.
just bought it. I don't know when I'm going to build it, but I really want to. JJ?
Yeah, so we went out, like Cam said, to Empire Bricks this past weekend for their, not only to film our video with them, which is out at the time of this recording. Thank you again to Matt and Juliet for opening the store an hour early for us so we could go around and do that. We also went out there for their famous minifig swaps, where free admission, you just come into the store, you could trade minifigs with people, you could trade minifigs with the store in some instances. And I had a whole like art supply, like tote thing full of minifigures. And a lot of them were just generic figures. I really didn't care about any of them for the most part, except for the Indiana Jones that Cam really wanted. But he didn't have enough to actually get it off of me.
Hey,
So-
I was able to trade 6 Dumbledores.
You did trade 6 Dumbledores. So I handed it over to the store and said, what are you guys going to give me for these? And after them totaling everything up, I ended up with about $70 in store credit, which I then turned around and bought the 2021 X-Wing with, because this is a set I don't actually have. And believe it or not, this is the only X-Wing I currently have assembled in my collection. I have one of like 2008, 2010 one, whatever year it came out. Have that one. It's in shambles, so I need to get a new one. And I really like this.
That's a nice feature.
It's like the fact that it's just basically a button on the top. The only thing about the design of this I don't like is that R2-D2 is like literally half hanging out of the top of the astromech port, but I can live with that. And if this one, I know like this one is the one they kind of used as like the platform in which to do the new Republic one that's coming out in a few weeks. If it's I'm even more excited to get that because I now have this one and know kind of how the function works, and it works really well.
There you go.
But now that's done. Today's topic: Lego IPs, specifically outside IPs that Lego has acquired and they are partnered with. It seems as though all the time now we are getting instances of a Lego set gets announced and it's literally just an IP set that we've kind of seen, or so it's an IP set that we haven't seen. It's a new IP and it's usually like a one and done kind of deal. And the question we have is there too many IPs currently in Lego's library? And Doug is here, obviously, because in your Bricklink store and going through a lot of things, you notice a lot of IPs coming and going, and you have a lot of knowledge in that sense. And also from different servers, you're in Discord servers, chatter and whatnot, which is why you are here. But just starting off, everyone's initial thoughts. How do we feel about the number of outside IPs Lego currently has in their library?
I want to think that I appreciate the ones that they have, but they really could back off a little bit. You know, it is a little overkill, but to bring different random normie people in, it's what they're going to do.
It's kind of, yeah.
Yeah, I think that the main underlying idea is to get more people into Lego so they can make more money. I mean, that's what they are. They're a business to make more money. I mean, something, and they reach out through the IPs because that's kind of like a built-in audience, so to speak. Whereas there's other things that they've done really well with that aren't IP based, like all the botanicals. The botanicals have exploded, and the popularity of those is well and beyond just the Lego fan. Some of those people are now Lego fans as well, but I mean, getting them in, some people are only the botanicals, and that's fine too. But I think that they're spreading themselves as vastly as possible because they're already a very large company. So in order to increase because I mean, if there's like the four of us, we're fans already. We probably have a limited budget. There's only so much we can buy. So I'm like, if they have new sets that are cool, we're like, well, okay, now we won't buy that other thing. We'll buy this thing. They're not really making more money from us. They need to make more money by getting to more people.
Correct.
I think similar to both what Gina and Doug said, like, I appreciate that they are a business and like, if they bring in an IP, they bring in a new set of fans. Like one of the more recent thoughts that I'm having is like the Enterprise. They were able to tap into the Star Trek fan base, which is a huge fan base, and they're able to draw them in Now, is there a guarantee that they're going to buy more than just the Enterprise? No, but let's just say they get 25% of the Star Trek fan base. That's still 25% more fans they didn't have before.
Mm-hmm.
And the same token, I understand that they need to bring in a bunch of IP, but I feel like they're doing too many too quickly to the point where some are just going to get overlooked. Like a perfect example, when I was at Gina's a couple weeks ago, I saw her Goonie set and I saw the Charlie and Chocolate Factory set. I love both. They look great to me.
Mm-hmm.
I would have gotten like Charlie and Chocolate because it's a bit smaller than Goonies, but I just lost sight of Goonies just because there's been so many other set reveals that there's no time or enough time or money to purchase every single new IP that I want. Like, they're playing the nostalgia factor, which is smart from Lego standpoint, but for fans of Lego, like, we already have our previous set of interests. Try and pull in other interests in it, you can't keep up. So I feel like it's getting to a point where it's smart on one hand, but it's also hurting other fans.
I think my view on it is I like they're doing this because I like it and I understand why they're doing it. I like it because, to Doug's credit, they're widening their reach to get people like the Star Trek fan base. Yes, there was probably a lot of Star Trek fans who also liked Lego. A ton of them definitely went out and got the Enterprise. And a lot of and people are like, man, some of these IP sets are so expensive. It's like, well, yeah, because they're banking on a lot of fans of that IP who aren't necessarily already fans of Lego are going to have the income to be able to buy that big Enterprise in the Star Trek case, because they haven't already spent $3,000 already that year on a bunch of other sets so far. Like, that's another thing to think about as well. One of the other points that I think also makes a lot of sense is this day and age is a lot of content. Like, with streaming networks or streaming platforms, TV networks, movie studios, they're always trying to make stuff. And we're constantly seeing sequels, reboots, remakes, all kinds of stuff. Like, Cam, you're a big Pixar fan.
Yes.
A lot of Pixar's more recent hits have all been sequels.
Yes,
and
they have.
And a lot of their flops have unfortunately been original projects that are still very, very good. But it's like the general audience isn't going to care about, isn't going to care, but hasn't cared as much because I'm going to just spend my money and go see Toy Story 5 over going to see this new thing that I don't really have an attachment to. I think that's what Lego's trying to really hit, is those people who they have selective income. They're not going to spend a ton of money, but when they see something they already have that attachment to, bam, now they've got them. And I think that's smart in that case.
See, it's both smart and it's tricky because, like, you hit it on the point. Like, in case of the movies, like, everything's getting so expensive lately, and Lego's a part of that too. Like, everything is getting more expensive, so people are being more selective with what they're buying. That, to be careful, they won't want to try something new. They want to go with what's familiar. They know if you've grown up with Toy Story, chances are you're going to go see the fifth one.
Yeah.
Are you going to go see the new Pixar movie Hopper? I don't know. I mean, the running joke is it's Avatar, but in Pixar. So, like, it's tricky because, like, you want to try new stuff, but with how much everything has been costing lately, and that's the same thing with Lego. Lego sets are getting more and more expensive with every new IP. With the new IPs, like, they're not doing small sets. They're doing big D2C 18+ adult sets like Goonies. That's, yes, it was an idea set, but it was still a $300 set. Charlie Chocolate Factory was how much, Gina?
It was at least $2 something. I don't even remember offhand.
Exactly,
I got it. I think I got it on sale or with a bunch of points, but
I hope. It feels like everything's getting more expensive, and, like, I understand that, like, that's Lego sets, that's with the big Lego sets, but also they have to pay. Lego probably has to adjust to some sort of IP fee to acquire all those IPs in Lego.
I mean, I think it would be nice, like you said, the Goonies, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. A lot of these IP sets are coming out, and they're huge. They're really, like, they're eye-catchingly huge, but they're also wallet unfriendly. And if they started, like, maybe a little smaller, like, not necessarily, a $20 set, but maybe just like 100, 150, just to feel out and see how well, and tease the people. Oh, you liked this? This was great. This worked. Now here's a $500 set. Well, you know
That's a
that's how
big
they
jump.
go.
No, I get it.
So, but I think tease them a little bit, give them a little, because a lot of the one and dones are going to be one and dones. This person really loves Goonies. They bought that set. That's it. They're done.
Yeah.
Now, if you brought out something smaller and that got to them, and then in a few months, oh, hey, look at this, that would be 2 sets at least that they would build, and it might give them the bug a little bit more.
I think there's something to be said just about smaller price point sets across the board. They just have so many really big, and they are awesome sets, but we've seen sets that are not so big that are awesome, like the new DeLorean in Speed Champion side. Awesome set. It's under $30.
Yes.
I mean, that would be the great kind of level to bring people on. I remember, like, with the Ideas line, used to have lots of small sets. You go far between before you find an idea set that's under 100, 120.
I mean, Ideas used to have, it used to kind of be this unwritten rule with Ideas to where you couldn't, like, idea sets were pretty much always under $100. And then I think it was the Saturn V that just went nope, and that went out the window. But the Saturn V was also like outstanding.
Well,
so
and they've also
complained.
changed the rules for that over time as well, adjusting for different things. That makes total sense to me.
When I also look at the point of a lot of these IPs are one and done. In the past, when Lego went through and did IP, like Prince of Persia, for example, Lone Ranger. Those were both just one wave, that's it. And a lot of those sets, unfortunately, sat around because there was just a million of them. And it was like, I think now, instead of taking that budget, and we're going to make a theme of play sets that one might do really well, the other one some other ones might do bad. We're going to spread our minifigure lineup up across 4 sets, 5 sets, whatever it is. Looking at Star Trek, like if this was like 10 years ago, Star Trek would have been a play theme, 100%. We probably would have gotten like $150 like play scale Enterprise that had no interior or it didn't look as great, and then they would have scattered a bunch of the crew members across. But instead of doing that, they went, we have the Icons theme now. We're going to make one big collector's style Enterprise, and instead of releasing 5 Star Trek sets that certain ones may sell more over others, or instead of taking that risk on, we're going to put our eggs in the basket on a theme of multiple products, it's let's take this IP that we have and let's do one big one. Like Lord of the Rings too. Like Lord of the Rings had multiple waves, but when they brought it back, it was just single sets per year in the Icons wave. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's actually a smart thing.
Both strategies I feel like have worked and both have not done well. I feel like Lord of the Rings is a perfect example for it working because like they did all the play scale sets and they sold pretty well from what I remember. And then the 1 DDC per year worked as well. And like both have their pros and cons. It's cool to get a bunch of sets to kind of build something big together. Then it's cool with like the DDC, which I view I view it similar to modulars in the sense that you're getting 1 set a year, you save up for it, and that way you're not spending like. That's why all the play scale sets work, because you can buy a few and that's break the bank. But then with modular and like the D2C Lord of the Rings are getting now, you plan to save your money for it each year because you're going to get 1 a year. So like both work in their own way. But I get where it's smart to do like the Enterprise, to do the 1 set, 1 and done. Hopefully bring in more fans. If you do, great. If you don't, no big deal. You do 1 set and then you get to move on. That's good from a business standpoint. From a fan standpoint, they could want more Star Trek sets, and they're probably not going to get them. Like it's selling well, but I don't know what sets they could do outside like doing an entirely new, like do the original.
I think
saga.
They're going to make more Star Trek sets. I
don't know. I'm just using it because like, we've gotten a lot of 1 and dones. Like we're never going to get another Charlie and Chocolate Factory set. We're never going to get another Goonies set. I mean, granted, those are ideas.
Yeah, that gets confined to the ideas bracket.
But then we got that one movie with Ryan Gosling coming out,
Project Hail Mary. That's going to be a 1 and done. Now that's not a super expensive set, but without any knowledge of the movie, like have we even gotten a trailer for it yet? Yeah, there's a trailer out. There's a couple trailers out.
I don't know. It doesn't seem like the kind of movie that would draw in Lego fans, to be quite honest. and we don't know how well this movie's going to do.
This could kind of almost tie into something that I had been reading on a different Discord server here and there, and I kind of pieced pieces of information together, and I had kind of an epiphany moment. And so, like the Star Trek theme, we've got the Enterprise now since November. There's at least 2 other companies, if not 3, that have had the Star Trek license.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
They have the Pokemon theme. Well, we have several sets, and we know there's more coming. Another company had the Pokemon theme before that. There's been a couple of themes where they've traded back and forth. Scooby-Doo and Spider-Man have kind of been back and forth a little bit. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles have been back and forth a little bit.
SpongeBob.
SpongeBob, too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't surprise me. So it's one of those things, and I'm wondering now, is SpongeBob and TMNT is a different owner, right?
Yes, TMNT is a different owner.
So I was wondering if it was under a blanket contract or whatever.
Mhm.
But I'm wondering if there's a certain element of we don't want that company to be able to make those sets anymore. So we will buy the license, make a set, and then let it sit.
And that's a really good point too, because
Makes sense.
like realistic, because I'm going to go into this in a second because Scott unfortunately couldn't be here today, but he made a whole spreadsheet and I have it. Like Mattel and Omega had a ton of IPs. Pokemon was in there, Star Trek was in there. There was a bunch in there. They've since lost those IPs to Lego, which means those contracts probably ran up, and either Mattel didn't get them or they went, we're gonna go to Lego instead because we'd rather go talk to them, and because they're the big dog in the block now.
It's also possible that Lego says, like, we want that. They contact the company, says, we understand you have a contract. We would like to talk before you sign a new one.
Yeah.
And it's just like, make our offer will be better, period. Something like that. I mean, who knows?
Transform
Lego's
was a
smart.
perfect example of that.
I mean, Lego's really smart because they secured Pokemon just in time for the 30th anniversary. I'm seeing advertisements for Pokemon everywhere now. Like there was a Super Bowl commercial. I'm watching, like JJ mentioned at the beginning, the men's US team winning. The first intermission was brought to you by Pokemon. I'm like, you're talking Pokemon and an Olympic game? Like Pokemon is everywhere right now. And I'm sure Lego had that planned to have them secure. They probably went to Pokemon. We know you have a contract with Mattel or Mega Constructs or whoever it was at the time. We want you as soon as that contract's up. And they probably looked ahead like, we know they have 30th. Let's take advantage of this. Because we might be getting 30th anniversary Pokemon sets. Now the ones revealed, but the ones coming probably in the summer. And it's smart from a business standpoint. But to Doug's credit, I never thought about them just acquiring IPs, making a one-off set just to hold on to IP so that their competitors can't get a hold of it. That's very smart. I mean, that's what Fox did back in the 90s. They made a Fantastic Four film that never hit theaters just so they could keep the license.
Yeah. Let's pull up Scott's thing here because he had a lot of really good stuff in this. So this is his IP versus creative bracket here. Or his bracket.
Wow,
so,
look at that.
So on the left, this is original IPs between, or like IPs that like Lego created themselves between 2020 and 2026. So you got architecture, the art, botanicals. Art's tricky because it kind of does licensed art pieces, but whatever. Brickheads is their own creation, so okay. Castle, Classic, CMF, Creator, Duplo, Friends, Monkey Kid, Ninjago, Technic, Town, Train, the holiday sets, and Ideas General. When you scroll down to other ones they've created themselves, and these ones he put notes on. Mindstorms was retired, Pirates got retired, Space got retired, Bionicle was retired, Extra was retired, Hidden Side is retired, Video was very much retired. Dots got retired, and he put Dreams as dying. So there's that. When we look at between 2015 and 2026, these are all of the commercial IPs that Lego has acquired. And I'm pretty sure this is all of them. So Animal Crossing, Despicable Me, Disney, Fortnite, Gabby's Dollhouse, Harry Potter, Jurassic World, Minecraft, Sonic, Speed Champions, F1, Star Wars, Marvel and DC, Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, Wednesday, Wicked, Zelda, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dune, Indiana Jones, Avatar, Horizon, Lightyear, Mario, Ghostbusters, Trolls, Bluey, Nike, Star Trek, Simpsons, One Piece. That's just IPs that didn't come from ideas.
Wow.
Sorry. The other ones that didn't come from ideas were Transformers, How to Train Your Dragon, Sherlock Holmes, Pharrell, Pac-Man, Atari, The Queer Eye Set, Friends TV show, Stranger Things, Adidas, NASA, Pokemon. of all of these, outside of ideas, Star Trek, Transformers, Pokemon all came from previous IP holders. Star Trek was with Mega, Pokemon was with Mega. Both those IPs were lost by Mega, went to Lego, and then Transformers was held by Creo and Hasbro. But the Creo line bombed so hard that Creo basically went under, and then Hasbro jumped over to Lego and said, "Hey, how can we make a Transformers set with you?" Which nobody on planet Earth thought would ever happen, but now here we are with.
That's why I bought the Voltron set. I never thought we were going to get a Transformer set, so I bought Voltron when it came out because I'm thinking this is the closest I'm going to get to a Transformer set.
But when you look at the other IPs that we had, Sesame Street, Home Alone, Seinfeld, Winnie the Pooh, Office, BTS, Nightmare Before Christmas, Jaws, D&D, Wonka, Goonies, Twilight. That's a ton. But all the IP sets, except for Friends, the TV show, were one-offs. Friends got the one set afterwards of the apartments, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of IP.
It's interesting that Ghostbusters started out as an idea set, and then we ended up getting 2 sets after.
Correct, it did.
Yeah.
Also, the sets highlighted in red or yellow. So the yellow is basically like up in the air because Despicable Me currently has no sets, but Lego's still advertising the IP. And then everything highlighted in red are IPs that Lego is they did stuff with, but they're currently not doing anything with anymore. Because like Indiana Jones, Avatar, Lightyear, Trolls, Queer Eye, and Friends, like they're not making sets on those anymore. Like they're just kind of hanging around.
Or nothing we know of yet.
Yeah. They have access to them theoretically. Like I don't think we're gonna get another Queer Eye set, to be honest with you.
I mean,
probably nothing more from Lightyear either, but
we're probably going to get more Despicable Me or Minion sets because we got a Minion monster or something is coming out. Indiana Jones surprised me that it was only that essentially one wave and then done.
Well, because that Temple of Doom set that got canceled made people really mad. So
Did you include? I think didn't Super Mario have a prior owner on?
It did.
Stuff.
Oh, I forgot who.
Did it?
I forgot. Yes, Mario.
Connects. They were with Connects.
Connects had Mario. That's right.
Wow.
So there is definitely history, and some of it is just like it's a good thing we should do. But I definitely think there's this element of because, and again, there's other stuff that we're kind of hearing about that's coming in the future that I'm not mentioning. Shrek. But I mean, it's just one of those things. It's just like they're just scooping stuff up. It's like they got stuff laid on the floor and they got a broom and they're just sweeping it in. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying they're trying to run a business. They want to be the best, if not / the only brick manufacturer. And I think that one of the things they see is to grab up the IP so their competitors can't use them.
One of my other questions I have now is we've seen them poach 2 big IPs from Mega / Mattel the last couple of years. They took Star Trek and they took oh my God, what's it called? Pokemon. Mega's the only really big IP that Mega has left is Halo.
They also have like the He-Man universe, don't they?
That's true.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Lego snagged that up, especially with the live action movie coming out.
No, Mattel owns the rights to He-Man to Masters of the Universe, so there's no way. But Halo,
Lego won't touch Halo.
I could see it 100%.
Yes. Really, with all the violence and all the actual
if they released a helmet series set of Master Chief, you are printing money at that point. Printing money.
I mean, I feel like
I'm
not familiar with Halo. How violent is it compared to Star Wars?
The same.
True. That's true.
It's an M-rated video game. That's why it gets a lot of flack.
And it's their whole thing with violence is it's like real world based. So the reason that Star Wars sneaks past it is because it's fictional, it's fake. Yes. So yeah, Halo. I mean, I think in some ways Halo probably would come across as, and I don't want to offend anybody, but more fake. You know, True. I think it seems less realistic than to me the Star Wars universe, which seems very realistic to me.
But Halo is like a military based game.
True.
Lego doesn't want to touch that.
True, but also Lego, I don't think cares anymore because they're.
Well, no, I think they do. I think they do only
They
because
are pushing the boundary of their like
They are.
we're not going to make stuff based on this,
Mhm.
and they've blown right by it. Dude, like realistically speaking, the military vehicles in Halo are the same as the military vehicles in Avatar.
See, now that is one that snuck by, but I remember there was that one military Technic set that wasn't directly military. It was just like
The
like a
Osprey.
medical.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, does he have that one?
I do. It's right up there.
It's like he has one.
So like they let that slip out, but like, oh no, we can't have that because some people went up in arms. So I feel like that's how Avatar snuck by, because as Doug mentioned, as long as it's not as believable, it might get by, and the chance of Avatar happening, not likely.
No.
But I feel like then it gets into the superhero route where we can't get Deadpool. We only got Daredevil and Punisher and Blade in an 18+ set, but those were only 3 minifigures and they weren't that graphic of characters because
Punisher
they debatable.
Punisher
But
is.
so like I don't know if they would do Halo. I agree if they did like the helmet series of Halo, it would sell.
Mhm.
But like Gina said, it's very militaristic, where it could be people would buy Halo sets, not for Halo. They would buy to get all the military colors. Like we did an episode with military sets or mocks with Rob and Jeffrey, and I guarantee you they would buy the Halo sets right away to try and mock them into military sets for themselves.
It's also a lot of that video game is also a lot of like the Spartans, like the humanoid character, the humans fighting like, you know, the Reach or the Flood or the Covenant, and there's a lot of different like it's like futuristic military like Halo, like Avatar, similar to that, versus an alien race that has a bunch of futuristic weaponry as well. So I'm like, for me, Halo hasn't been picked up because it's not something that they can make play sets based off of. But the fact you have 18+ now, I think Halo would 100% jump and leave for Lego if Lego opened the door for them. 100%.
I think another thing that like other companies do, they'll grab IPs that won't last long. Like I remember Mega or Constructs, whatever they were called at the time, they had Game of Thrones sets. And some of them were actually pretty cool, but they only lasted so long because the show was on its way out when they started releasing the sets. So as soon as the show ended in not that great of a fashion, I'm sure not many people wanted to get the sets, but also I don't feel like Mega had the resource that Lego has where they can mass produce a bunch of sets.
Correct.
Like there were some sets in Game of Thrones I would want. One, they don't have their own store, so that you find them in Walmart or Target, and they only get so many, and you end up seeing them on eBay going for a stupid amount of money because they're so limited. Whereas with Lego, they have their own store, they have Pick-a-Brick, they have Bricklink, like they have alternatives to acquire sets. Whereas with like Mattel or Mega, they depend on toy stores, which that's a dying breed. So now they depend on stores like Walmart, like Target, in our case, Wegmans a little bit, I guess. There's only so many places they can be sold, whereas Lego, they do their own store. They can line the shelves with whatever IPs they want because it's their shelf space.
It'll be interesting to see like if they do things like that, because I could see them perhaps doing something along those lines. Like certainly like the helmet. Like they could get the IP, make a helmet, and then not do anything else.
Yep.
You know, that would be acceptable. People would love it. And like you said, printing money, but they're not really getting into a lot more of it. It would be interesting to see if they ever come out with something where they censor it from their own stores, so they don't have people walking in and seeing it and complaining.
I mean, that's one thing that happened with the Daily Bugle. When that big Daily Bugle came out, they told, from what we understand, Lego stores were told by Lego Corporate, do not put the Punisher minifigure in the display case, because there was a lot of parent groups that were furious with the fact that Lego had made Punisher as an official minifigure in a toy, basically. But I think like you can push the boundary now that you have 18+. And they've shown, like with the Bugle, they're willing to do it. And there's ways in which you can sneak by some of these things that are minty fresh and will work. So that's why I'm thinking to myself, like, we could legitimately, like, Doug, your point of like, are they just buying up IP so that other building companies don't get them? Like, probably. Like, probably. I mean, realistically speaking, like how is Mega or Mattel Brick Shop supposed to compete with anything if Lego's buying up all the IP that they're able to use to then compete with Lego?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And on top of that, you know what's even funnier about the whole thing is what IPs have they bought that we'll never know because they're just not building a set. We bought the IP, we're not making a set.
I mean, they sat on Ghostbusters, like they did the idea set and then the Firehouse, and then went back again. And it was like years later, they did, it was a couple years after that, they did the all-female movie Ghostbusters.
Mm-hmm.
And then years and years later, here's the Brickhead, and then here's the Big Ecto 1. So it's like, yeah, how many of these IPs that they used before are they just sitting on?
Yeah.
Because they're gonna wait for it to make sense to use it again.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that interests me is like what IPs are out there already in brick form that they don't have that you'd like to see.
Yeah.
They have Smurfs is out there with somebody. Care Bears is out there with somebody. I think they could do a really good Care Bears IP because if they advertised well, that would catch the eyes of kids. And it's supposed to be a kid's toy. So you make like the Bluey sets, you make the smaller sets, but Care Bears is going to be more geared towards girls.
Oh, wait, Smurfs is with Lego now.
The idea set.
Is the idea set. Smurfs is with Lego now.
They have
Peanuts is with Lego now.
They're going to do an
idea set.
Yeah,
they're going to do a Smurfs idea. It got picked.
I forgot, and I was really excited, and I forgot. Land Before Time. Stuff like that. Like they could do stuff that's more familiar to kids to get the kids into the store.
Mm-hmm.
And then, here's this Care Bear set. Oh my God, I didn't know they had Bluey. Oh my God, baby dinosaurs. And then, and then the parents are looking around. So they might end up doing better if they geared some of the IPs that they do towards the younger audience. Because you're still getting adult money walking into the store.
On the flip side of everything, though, kind of what the main focus of this episode, like we initially started talking about, is there too much IP? On one hand, yes,
now we want more.
well, that's the thing. On one hand, there is too much because we're seeing Lego original IPs getting smaller and smaller. As Scott showed on that graph, there's a lot of Lego IP that is either retired or dying. Whereas with all the IP that's not Lego, there's a lot more sticking around. Now, granted, a lot of those ideas ones, I don't know if they should be considered red or not because they were one-offs and idea sets. Ideas have different rules.
Yeah.
But, like, if we scroll back up a little bit, JJ, looking under the IPs for Lego, a lot of those aren't specifically original IP because, like, you have architecture, which is real-life buildings, botanicals, brickheads. The concept is Legos, but they do a bunch of IP.
Yes.
City's never going to change. Classic's never going to change. CMF, they rotate with some IP, with some of their own. The main hitters that are sticking around for Lego right now of their original IP, you have City, maybe Castle if they ever get around to it, Creator / Creator 3-in-1, Duplo, Friends, Ninjago, and then somewhat Holiday, but like even Holiday and Technic maybe, but like they're based on like supercars and you're getting Batman Technic cars.
Yeah.
There's not much Lego original IP, whereas if you go back to like the 90s, before Star Wars, it was all their own stories.
Shell.
They had Shell,
Mare, Squid, things like that.
There was a few things, but they were very few and far between. The only thing I would say to that too is it would be interesting to have this same list and then have like a set count. How many sets were in that? Because my guess is you're still going to be heavily concentrated on the their in-house IP than their bought IP.
I mean, the only thing right here,
bought IP are one.
Realistically speaking, this right here is what you're going to get knocked right there in terms of that's where a bulk of your IP is coming from is Harry Potter, Jurassic, Minecraft, Sonic. Because Sonic's getting like 5 or 6 set waves every half a year now. Speed Champions, F1, I'll just blank it in with that. Star Wars, the superheroes in Star Wars are huge when it comes to that. Massive.
And then like you got Super Mario too, that they're slowed down a little bit compared when they first started. Like if we go back down to like going with, I can't even read that. Mindstorm, Pirates, Space, Monocle, like they all had giant waves of sets. Hidden Side had giant waves of set. Video, Sony Sets, Dreams had big waves twice a year, 3 times a year.
I think so.
Yeah.
So like they're getting big waves, but then they're not succeeding because similar to what JJ brought up earlier with like Pixar, everyone's going to see Toy Story 5, but they probably won't see the original story Hoppers because everybody wants to go with what they know. So in a sense, IP could hurt. I'm not saying Lego's going to kill. I can't talk. IP's not going to kill Lego in the long run because they're going to keep acquiring IP, but they might lose sight of what they originally started out as with the original Lego themes. Now, who knows? One day, maybe Ninjago will end. I doubt it at this point. It's become a staple of the franchise now of Lego. So,
better not.
Seriously.
They tried to end it once and it just didn't work.
Yeah.
Even though like I've never bought a Ninjago set, I appreciate what it's done for Lego. Like I see all their sets, they look fantastic. Like honestly, JJ, that one that you bought when I told you not to buy it day one, I almost bought it.
You did almost buy it.
I did almost buy it. After seeing it at the meeting, holding it in my hand, they do great work with Ninjago, and I hope that they keep up with the non-IP sets because I feel like that's where a lot of creative and imagination's coming from. Because with the IPs, yes, we're getting new parts but we get new parts to fit the mold that was pre-made by the IP itself.
Yeah.
Whereas with Lego's IP, they're creating their own thing. We're seeing great builds based on imagination in all reality from the Lego designers. They're designing a story, whereas the IP, they're designing what's already been made. So you kind of lose that imagination a little bit.
And I think that's like another thing when we talk about people, like a lot of people are like, they miss the old, like retired themes, like the original IPs, like your Atlantis, your Agents, Power Miners, things like that. Vikings. Yeah. Castle, big one.
Space Police.
And people are, like bring those back. Like we need more original IPs. And it's like, well, the problem is they make those original IPs and none of you buy them. Like,
that's true.
So none of you buy them. And
I think what ends up happening, Lego essentially, I feel like two things happen. One, Lego gives up on them too quickly, but also Lego builds, like they put too much pressure on it to succeed right away. They need to build a story and let it build. Like with Dreams, I remember when Dreams first released, I'm not going to take a shot at Dreams. I'm not going to, this is me being serious. I'm not going to do an I hate thing.
Going to take a shot at Dreams.
I'm serious. I'm being dead serious with it right now.
Because I do know where you live.
I'm aware.
Okay.
When Dreams first started, I remember all the hype that was around it, all of like the extra marketing they did for it, the builds that they brought into the store, the stuffed animals, the shirts, like the badges that they had the employees wear. Like they really put all their eggs into Dreams. And I bet they were hoping to get another Ninjago. And when it didn't meet their expectation, whatever high expectation they set, they viewed it as a failure, didn't put in as much effort as they could have. And that's why it seems like it's been dying. But then we get this most recent wave that brought it up, that elevated it. I will admit, these sets, most recent wave that we got, have been the better ones we've gotten. Is it too late, though? Because it seemed like Lego gave up on it, and we saw that they should be retiring this year, and it could be the end of Dreams.
Well, I do know that I had heard somewhere, and I'm not really sure, but for the in-house themes, there's generally a 4-year cycle that they look at.
Yes.
And it basically runs for 4 years and they move on to something else. And that's why Ninjago they were at their end. That's why Chima was out. Yeah. Chima took the space of Ninjago's wave. When Ninjago did not have a wave, I think it was in January of one year. Everybody disliked Chima and still wanted Ninjago. They reverted, and I think if you look at the sets in the first returning Ninjago wave after they skipped, they're not that great because they had to scramble.
Yeah.
They weren't planning on doing that. And I think so you're seeing so they start a theme like with the Dreams, and it's like maybe they're good, maybe they're not, and then they get better because the designers have more time with it. But then if it's going to end in 4 years, do they have enough time to really get it to where it should be and keep it there? Should they only wait until they have the sets that they feel are at a higher level? I don't know.
One of the things also that I look at when it comes to, that's a cool build.
Okay, that's actually pretty decent. I'll give it that.
He's really cool.
When you look at one of the other problems with a lot of the newer like their own in-house IPs is like, oh, we're gonna do like what a lot of like Nexo Knights had a TV show on Cartoon Network. Chiba had a TV show. Both those TV shows bombed. Why? Because everyone watched Ninjago and then it was over. They turned it off, and that was the end of it. So it's like Ninjago, I feel like, is what's preventing any more Lego original IPs from being successful, because it's ballooned into this thing that's so big that's like you kind of have to take away some of Ninjago's mojo to make this work. And we know kind of that the Monkey Kid design team was just up and moved into Ninjago. So it's like, you know,
So that begs an interesting question. Is like, is it because there's a finite amount of money that people have available to spend and they're already familiar with Ninjago, they're spending it on that? If they actually canceled it, really, and then had one or two other themes start smaller, would those start to build up?
yes.
Again, you have a huge business. They don't want to lose that high level sales level that Ninjago has by trying something else. It's like, oh, we're only going to be over here for a while, but we're going to get better. And because Ninjago was probably smaller to begin with too. It's the
if they keep, and this has just been sad, but if they keep hiking the Ninjago set price point, they're gonna start to lose people, because even the kid sets, like, are the smaller sets, like there's a new car that's coming out that's an astronomically insane, inappropriate price.
$90.
And it's no. So nobody's going to buy that except for there's one of the anniversary figs in it. So, but if they keep doing that, they're going to start to push Ninjago fans away, because Ninjago's always been great price point, huge builds. It's always been like the go-to for that, and they're teetering on blowing it, and it's sad to say.
I got a thought that's a little out there. So I saw this clip this past weekend of two football players were playing with this little kid, and they were like talking about what's your favorite cartoon, and the kid was dumbfounded, like, what, like on YouTube? And the football players were just completely flabbergasted. They never heard of, like, what, you never heard of, like, Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, like cartoons. Like, what cartoons do you watch? And they took, do you mean Mr. Beast? And they were just flabbergasted. Well,
These Lego sets when.
Let's not let that happen. So it makes me think more into, we've been talking, like we talked about the Goonies sets, like all the nostalgia that Lego's feeding into, like with Pokemon, with Goonies, with Star Trek, like they're feeding into nostalgia hugely. We're seeing less and less play scale sets. Is Lego trying to gear themselves to be less of a kid's toy and more of just a upscale product that can be played with by kids, but they're looking to aim more towards adults because, one, they have the income, and two, they can draw them in with the nostalgia, because they're thinking, why do we need to attract new fans right now when all we have to do is wait for them to get old enough, release a theme of something that they enjoy when they were younger, then we'll get them then. We don't have to sort of get them when they're young to let them grow into Lego and then continue on. We can just bait them all in with nostalgia, because they're getting non-Lego fans to buy sets. Whereas like us four, we've grown up with Lego. We love Lego. We're going to continue to love Lego. I fear that is kind of going away, where there's not many people growing up with Lego, but more so they grow up, they see Lego. Oh, I used to like that growing up. I'm going to get a Lego set because it's cool. They get the one-off and then they're done. I hope it's not true, but are they sort of teetering away from being a kid's toy to then just appeal to nostalgia? They're following that nostalgia train, which is smart in the short term, but in the long term, I don't know.
I think that it's probably not that case. And the reason I say that is because we're seeing a lot of these icon sets and this nostalgia and just these larger price points, but that's where they're trying to grow their market. Of course, that's where they're putting that sort of thing. It's like they already have a large market of kids, like with the Ninjago and with other things like that. It's just like, if they had a third or fourth, because Ninjago and Friends are both very similar, very long running themes that they're going to stick around for as long as they possibly can. could they actually absorb having, let's say, 2 more themes that are in-house IPs that are doing really well? I mean, I'm sure they'd love to, but then they're just going to be cannibalizing their own sales, because it was like somebody who likes Ninjago might also like this other type set, or somebody who likes a friend set might also like this other thing. It's just like, well, I can't buy everything, so I'm going to buy some of the friends and some of this other thing. And so now the friends isn't selling as well, and now Ninjago's not selling as well, but everything is selling about the same overall.
Mhm.
Is it worth it to spread it out between 4 themes than just 2? I don't know.
I also feel like one of the other things you could think of too is like when you look at people being fans of IPs, it's like, oh, like here's like there's the Ninjago niche. A good amount of those guys, the ones that really drive the Ninjago sales, they're just buying Ninjago. The Star Wars builders are probably just sticking to Star Wars because they're so expensive. That's all they can afford to buy. Superheroes might be kind of like, certain people like Cam, like you are on a mission to collect every Marvel set.
Yes.
Like you're always going to buy what comes out. There are probably other people out there that are doing that same thing.
Exactly. And like, I mean, to that point, like I know I've always said, oh, I'm only buying Marvel, this and that. Like, I don't buy Marvel because I'm a shill for Marvel. Like, I buy Marvel just because, like, when I was younger, there were some sets I didn't buy, and then COVID happened, and there was nothing to do. I looked at some of the older sets I didn't get and saw how much they jumped up in price. I don't want to overpay for sets. Like, I'm in my mind, I'm saving money, if that makes sense. I'm probably not, because some of those sets are probably decreasing in value as they've gone on. But even still, I'm not. Marvel has been disappointing lately. It really has been. And as a Marvel fan, that sucks for me because like I hate that. But I'm hoping that they spin things around and come back. But then that's an IP that I feel like, similar to Ninjago, Lego won't want to let go of, because they love their Lego superheroes brand. They don't want to lose that, because not many other companies like Mega or Mattel can do a superhero theme, because Marvel and DC are the 2 superhero themes. So like they could be in the same boat as Ninjago and Friends to continue on as a Lego theme.
I wonder if, and this is a totally separate conversation you could consider, I'm wondering if part of the problem Marvel is having is a lack of good big budget movies. They've been concentrating a lot of the TV shows and not so much on the movies recently. I wonder if that's hurting them.
I wonder
Stay tuned for a future episode.
Yeah, that might be next week's topic. But I also people like, I think people are complaining like, oh, they're only doing IPs, but it's like, again, if they weren't doing IP stuff, would you buy it? Or would you just say that's cool? Because a lot of you probably sit there and go, we love a lot of this older original IP stuff. But again, would you buy it? Would you, like,
all right, quick show of hands.
That's what Lego cares about.
Who's going to be buying the Blue Spaceman when it comes out March 1st?
I don't know if I'm going to buy it March 1st, but I probably would like to get it. I haven't been buying the upscaled figures completely, so
I think it's great.
I want to, but I really have to do math.
Yeah. One of the other things too is like, now that Lego has the Hasbro partnership with Transformers, and I'm like 99% positive we're probably gonna get another Transformers set in the next couple of years. Like I know right now Bumblebee and Optimus Prime are both set to retire this year, but I would be willing to put my life on
Megatron.
We are getting Megatron. And
I don't want you to die. I don't want you to die, JJ.
What were the release years for Optimus and Bumblebee?
Bumblebee was like 2 or 3 years after Optimus, and then Soundwave, the Brickheads came out like about 7-8 months after Bumblebee, and then Soundwave was like a year afterwards.
And how long ago was that one?
Soundwave was August.
Yeah.
We need a Soundwave Brickhead. There might be something come August, September.
There could be. I mean, we haven't heard anything leak-wise yet. There is one unsubstantiated leak saying that we are going to get Megatron, and that he will turn into a tank. And I'm like, again, it's Transformers. Like, it's fine. It doesn't, like, you have the 18-plus blanket now where it's like, these are not marketed to kids. So it's okay if you do that. I also am 1,000% positive we are going to get G.I. Joe at some point in a Lego theme.
There's no way. I don't think so. I think G.I. Joe's too much military that they'll just lock it down.
But if you do like newer G.I. Joe with like snake eyes and whatnot, that could They're basically all just secret agents. I'm not talking old G.I. Joe. I'm talking like the newer G.I. Joe. That could be kind of cool.
I'll tell you two themes that I would like to see Lego pick up that have actually existed elsewhere. D&D.
Yeah.
Because
got it now.
Hasbro had that. It was in-house because Hasbro owns D&D, but we now have the set, so why can't we do it? And then Walking Dead, which existed elsewhere, and that would be kind of fun.
Yeah.
So,
Walking Dead.
Don't
Could
get
be
my
not-
hopes up.
It's not like they haven't had zombie figs
exactly.
in multiple,
They have
in
had
A level
across
of
zombie
multiple
violence
areas.
in the show that I think they shy away from, and I get that, but I would like
But
to
if
see them.
If you just like zombies, oh, okay, this looks really cool. Maybe you didn't see the violent show. Like it doesn't,
If there wasn't as
it's a
much
comic book.
human versus human in Walking Dead, I think it would have it. Like if it was literally just humans versus zombies, it'd have a chance. But because
That's a Nerf game.
I mean, as the show went on, the zombies became less and less of a threat, and it literally became human versus human, which was most frustrating for me because I love watching the zombies get killed. The fact that the zombie kills were lessened every season and it was more human kills, in my mind, I'm like, if I want to watch a human versus human trial, I'd watch anything else. I want to see zombies get killed.
I mean, can you, any of you here, tell me if Lego were to release 2 helmet sets of Snake Eyes' mask and Cobra Commander's helmet, they wouldn't sell out instantly.
I personally have no
saying
connection
that.
to it, but
I'm just like,
Yeah, I don't know.
like, especially now that they're putting minifigures with helmet sets. If you put a Snake Eyes minifigure in a helmet set and do Cobra Commander with a helmet set, gone.
I
That
don't
will
doubt it, but
sell.
I feel like Lego's going to stick. Ironically speaking, Lego's going to stick to their guns and avoid military type sets at all costs. They're going to avoid Halo. They're definitely going to. I feel like they will avoid JJ just because of the history of military. Some military stuff will sneak through. Like JJ said, we had Avatar. I funnily enough,
Indiana
we
Jones.
had
Indiana
Toy Story
Jones.
with little green army men. We had Indiana Jones.
Yeah, but that's different to me though.
I understand,
I
but like I
agree.
feel like they're going to avoid military at all costs.
but they
As-
are pushing their boundaries.
They're
Like we
trying
just
to-
got a murder GWP.
That see, like I'm willing to bet we're gonna get Lego Halo in the next 5 years. 100%. I'm willing to put money on that.
It depends if it depends if Mega lets go of the IP, but at the same time, they might not because I mean, JJ, I talked about this
Or
back
if
at Empire
Halo doesn't
BrickCon.
renegotiate the contract when it runs up.
We talked about this back at Empire BrickCon. Xbox is all but done because Halo is going to be on PlayStation.
And now considering
might not be Halo anymore.
Microsoft is considering just not making Xbox anymore because they might get rid of their gaming thing. Like that means
There
that
might
leaves
not be a
Halo
reason
even
for
more
Halo.
up in the air. No, Halo's huge. There's Halo conventions now. But like My Little Pony is owned by Hasbro. I get 100%. If you get the bronies to start buying Lego sets, that is an untapped market you have not yet gone into yet. I mean, Unikitty was kind of there, but like if you can get the bronies into Lego with My Little Pony stuff, you are going to be able to buy Halo from whoever it is that owns it right now.
Don't
Because of
hate me.
that.
A new 4+ theme, Baby Shark.
another interesting
Oh my God.
thing with the IPs that I was thinking of is the Speed Champions and like some of the mega cars, like you get the Ford and all those other things. Isn't like one of the mega brands doing large format vehicles as
Yeah.
well?
Yeah, under the Hot Wheels brand.
Yep.
So like,
Hot Wheels is doing
how
it.
are they? How is that being juggled IP wise? I mean, it's just
Because
like, is
they're-
Ford really an IP, or is it just you have to ask your permission?
Because Mattel's using it under the Hot Wheels brand, and like they're doing some slightly different parts. Like Gina, you said that they put metal in the sets, right?
Yeah, there was a metal plate that like hooks to the bottom of the set. Scale wise, it's the same as any Speed Champion, any
feel like
the new
The
ones.
fact
But yeah,
that you got Speed Champions and Hot Wheels, but
the
also like Hot
stickers,
Wheels is another toy too.
the stickers was also a thing. Like they were all use them or don't. So it wasn't like it was a Ford, but you didn't have to dress it all up with all this. There was enough printed pieces to get the point across.
all of the Mattel Brick Shop cars also come with a die-cast Hot Wheels car as well.
Yes.
So I wonder if that allows them to like, because you can't tell me Lego didn't sign some sort of contract with those companies to be like, we have an exclusivity deal with you either that deal originally expired and multiple companies are allowed to use those IPs,
Mhm.
or Mattel found some way around it by putting a die-cast car in the
Loophole.
building toy.
Yeah.
A loophole to where
what
now
I
it
think
counts.
it's either a loophole was found, or the brands of like Ford are like, I'm not gonna sign an exclusivity deal with you. I want to be able to venture out, because like we're the big company, you're the toy company. Like,
Yeah.
you can't tell us what to do. We're gonna tell you what you can do with our brand.
Correct. Does anybody have any final thoughts before we start wrapping up here?
The future is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
I would 100% say that is very much the case there.
I think Doug made a really great point where there might be a higher number of IPs versus Lego IP, but it comes down to the number of sets that each IP gets. And I feel like that's going to be a big factor, because like going to Lego store, it does seem kind of 50-50 on Lego IP versus IP.
Yeah.
So I think it comes down to what Lego wants to produce. They could easily have 100 IPs and have one set of piece, but then they could do 100 sets of their own IP. Like, it really comes down to what Lego does themselves. It's hard to say that Lego is depending more on IP when we see a high number of Ninjago, of City, of Friend sets versus all the other IP.
Botanicals.
Yeah, I definitely think there's too many IPs, but a lot of, and then I go back to think, well, I don't really care about most of these, but I would love to see this one, and this one. So just trade them out. So yes, there's too many, but no, there's not enough at the same time.
Exactly.
I think when I look at the IPs that Lego has, I think it's perfectly fine what they're doing. I don't think there's too many. I think it's smart from a business perspective. You want to capitalize on those fan bases that may not already be fans of Lego to begin with.
Mhm.
You also want to try and, like, I mean, one thing we didn't talk about at all, mock builders. Like, how many mock builders do we see are building stuff based on IPs that Lego doesn't make sets based off of? And then they start making sets based off it, and those mock builders go even crazier because now they have minifigures and official sets and things they can use to there is a lot there. And I think, I mean, 100,000,000% we are going to get Halo Lego sets in the next 5 years. I am willing to put money on that. I think it will happen.
$10.
I'll do it. $10. I think they'll all be 18 plus for sure. But I think that we are going to see them do Halo Lego sets. 100%.
With that being said, to answer the question that we positioned at the beginning of this episode, there are more IPs versus Lego IP. That doesn't necessarily mean IP's taken over Lego.
Yeah, I also don't think it's bad either. Well, this was a very fun one. And I would like to thank Doug for taking some time out of his very busy schedule to come on and join us for this episode. It was always a treat having you, my friend.
Thank you.
Would you like to plug where everybody can find you?
DOTU Bricks on YouTube. That's the YouTube channel. And then DOTU Bricks on Bricklink. That's the Bricklink store.
We'll have both of those will be linked below as well. Another thing that will be linked below is the St. Baldrick's Day Cancer Charity Fund that was set up by Xander's Bricks. He was on last week, and we are going to continue to plug his charity until the drive closes. $15 you can donate to the St. Baldrick's Foundation to help with childhood cancer research. Every $15 donation does give you an entry to possibly win a Lego set. So you get a little kickback there if you do end up winning, which is always very fun. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. Hit the notification bell so you're notified when all brand new episodes go live. And also also consider becoming a channel member like these three people right here. So we have Mr. G Fat Jake, Galador Cash, and Ben Northway 3386. Thank you all for helping us keep the lights on and continue to do fun things here. Our next members only video is going to be next month. We have a members only stream coming up soon, so make sure you get ready for that if you have not already. You can find us on Instagram at the Brick Hour Pod. You can find me on Instagram at Langster Builds.
You can find me at Cameron Studios _.
And I am at My Bricks and Me on YouTube and Instagram.
And we will see everybody in the next episode. Have a great night. Happy building.